Hey. Time for another out-of-this-world story from rSpace. Nothing like a taste of your own medicine to spice things up a bit. Today on rSpace, how to turn the tables. Wife wanted to sleep with her boss and make me watch. I partnered with affair partner's wife and reversed their plan. Let me start by saying that I never thought I'd be sharing my story on Reddit. I've been a lurker for years, enjoying the drama and chaos of other people's lives while mine stayed relatively normal, until it didn't. I'm posting here because I think I need to get this off my chest and maybe, just maybe, help someone else who finds themselves in a similar situation. My wife, calling her Emma, and I have been married for almost 7 years now. Our marriage, while not perfect, had always been solid. At least that's what I thought. We had our ups and downs, like any couple, but nothing that made me doubt the foundation of our relationship, until last week, when everything changed. It started out as an ordinary evening. We had finished dinner and were lounging on the couch, scrolling through our phones. Emma seemed unusually quiet. I asked her something was wrong, but she just smiled at me, the kind of smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Then she dropped the bombshell. She broke the silence, saying she wanted to talk to me about something. My heart skipped a beat. You know how these need-to-talk things go? I had no idea what was coming, but I could sense whatever it wasn't good. She said, "I've been thinking a lot about our relationship, and I feel like we need to try something new to strengthen our bond." I was confused. "What do you mean? We're doing fine, aren't we?" She shook her head. "No, we need to explore something different, something exciting." At this point, my confusion turned into concern and asked, "What are you talking about?" She took a deep breath and then looked me straight in the eye. "I want to sleep with my boss, and I want you to watch. Please hear me out completely before making any judgment. It will be an opportunity to explore our dynamics. You're naturally more submissive, and he's more dominant. It could be fun." I was waiting for a punchline at the end, but there came none. It wasn't a joke. She was damn serious. I was stunned. For a moment, I couldn't speak. My wife was asking me to watch her sleep with another man, a man she worked with, no less. The idea of sharing her with someone else had never crossed my mind, let alone in such a twisted way. I freaked out. "Are you out of your mind?" Emma didn't flinch. "No, I've talked to Tom about it, and he thinks it would be a great experience for both of us. He has convinced me that it would bring us closer. He's my boss, and I know how dominating he could be." I asked her, "You already slept with him, didn't you? Else, how would you know he's a dominating monster?" She snapped at me, saying she hadn't slept yet, but seeing him dominating the office has given the idea in her head that he would be a beast in bed. I forced her to speak the truth, and she confessed, "I swear we never slept, except for feeling him over last week. I swear nothing happened. He let me touch him only to convince me how it would actually feel inside of me." I was shocked with disbelief if I was talking to the same woman I had been married to for so many years. In my mind, the marriage was over. Several thoughts raced as to how should I go about it. For someone who has spent so much time on this sub immediately understood that my marriage was a dead flower now, and all I could do was to get back at her with a similar or even harsher blow. She went on saying, "Honey, I love you. I love the way you let me take the lead. I know you're a great human being who respects his wife. But babe, please let me have this experience once. I want to feel the thrill of submitting to a dominating partner, and it would be so much better for you to watch it." It made me throw up. I stormed into the bathroom. I looked into the mirror and thought, where did I falter? I'm not a submissive man, but as she said, I respect her boundaries and let her take the lead because she likes it that way. I take her opinion in the decisions that impact her life, like changing houses. The situation where it doesn't bother her, like buying my car, I decide it myself. However, stuff like a holiday destination, dinner place, etc., which doesn't matter too much to me, I let her decide. I don't think it makes me less of a man or submissive, as she said. I tried to recollect how Tom looked. He's a tall, confident, and admittedly attractive man. I'd met him a few times at company events, but never thought much of him. Now, suddenly, he was a threat to everything I held dear. She knocked on the door asking if I was fine. I didn't respond. She said she's going to doze off as she was tired. "Of course you are, by fantasizing about your boss." When I came out, the room was dark and she was already on her side of the bed, sleeping. The thought of sleeping next to her made me sick to the guts, but I still lay down on the bed because I wanted to see something. Her phone. I waited for her to fall asleep, but she was tossing, and after a while, she turned towards me and said, "Babe, I really love you. This would only strengthen our relationship. Trust me. After you see me with him, your excitement to claim me back would be paramount, and it would enhance our bed life so much. You trust me, right?" I didn't say anything and pretended to be asleep. Later that night, When she was sleeping soundly beside me, I carefully reached over to her side of the bed and took her phone. My hands trembled as I unlocked it, hoping that I wouldn't find anything too damning, but what I discovered was far worse than I had imagined. There were messages between Emma and Tom, messages that made my blood boil. They had been sleeping for about a month. The texts were vulgar with details about their dirty encounters and discussing plans for future trysts. It was clear that Tom had been manipulating her, convincing her that I was too submissive to satisfy her needs, and that only he could give her what she truly desired. Of late, he has been telling her how it would be so much thrill to make me watch it. Initially, she resisted, saying I would lose my mind over it, but eventually, she agreed to his heinous proposal of making me watch it. One of his sentences said, "I cannot wait to see his miserable face when I drill you in front of him. We'll make him sit naked and watch his tool reacting to our moves." I felt sick to my stomach. The woman I loved, the woman I had vowed to spend the rest of my life with, had betrayed me in the most unforgivable way. I consolidated these proofs and knew these would help me move on. After I was done digging, I went outside and slept on the couch. The next morning, after she went to work, I searched for Tom's wife on social media. We had met a few times at company events. Wasn't sure if she remembered my name on my face. I figured she had no idea what her husband was up to, and she deserved to know the truth. I contacted her on Instagram and told her my wife is Tom's mistress, and she was blown away. She immediately called me on Instagram, and I told her in brief. She asked me if we could meet in person because she couldn't contemplate what was happening. I left my office to meet her. When she arrived, I could see her trying to hold back tears and choked. "I can't believe this." I said neither could I, and then narrated to her the entire conversation I had with Emma last night. I showed her the messages I retrieved from her phone. She could no longer hold back her tears seeing Tom's vulturous side. Tears rolled down her cheeks, and then she excused herself to use the bathroom. When she came back, her face was red with crying. She's indeed very pretty. I have never laid my eye on any woman after I married Emma, but at this instance, I was swooned away by her poise and elegance. The way she was holding herself up after knowing this crap was commendable. Any other woman in her place would have stormed into Tom's office and beat the crap out of him. I said, "I'm so sorry, but I think we need to figure out what to do next. We definitely couldn't let them walk all over us." She said her relationship with Tom has been rocky for a while, and she has been thinking of separation, and this is the last nail in the coffin. We spent the next hour talking, both of us trying to process the betrayal we had just uncovered. She said she was going to meet her lawyer friend and asked me if I wanted to join. She made the decision right away that she would be proceeding with the divorce, and so was I. Her friend helped us understand the laws around divorce. Looks like it's not favorable for men, yet I'm ready to embrace the laws to get rid of my cheating whore. It's been 3 days since then. Tom's wife and I are in constant touch, lending a supportive shoulder to each other. She has gone to her parents to avoid any talks with Tom while he and Emma are drilling the opportunity at its best. Emma is coming home late every day, and I know what she's up to. I don't care now. I've already started to move on. It's just a matter of time before she's out of my life. The lawyer said it would take 15 days for the paper to be ready. Meanwhile, the whore at my house is constantly nagging me to accept her vulgar proposal. I'll make the next update after I'm done dealing with this cunt. Well, that escalated quickly. Newsflash, Emma. Not everyone likes to watch. It's impressive, really. Most people just try new restaurants or hobbies to spice things up. But this one wants to turn her husband into a cuck. At least you get to enjoy the comfort of knowing that you've officially dodged the world's worst couples therapy. Update 1. Here's an update. Okay, I'm going to call Tom's wife Sarah. So Sarah and I went nuclear on these two crappy duds. Our initial plan was to blindside them, divorce, and throw them out of our house and our lives. But Sarah had something else in mind. She was sick of Tom's cheating and toxicity. She wanted to humiliate him in the same way he wanted to do me. She was like, let's give them the taste of their own medicine. I was puzzled. She said, let's make out and let them see it. I burst out in laughter, thinking this to be a joke. She said she was dang sure of doing this if I was in. Let me confess, I got attracted to her at that very first meeting. Yes, she's beautiful and pretty, and everything about her personality and the way she navigated her emotions was jaw-dropping. Okay, I'm not generalizing it, but I'd hardly met a woman who was so calm and knew exactly what to do. Honestly, having her on the boat makes me feel better. You feel you're not alone in this crap. I know I would be picked up for this, but I don't care. Sarah and I have been meeting every day since I broke the news of Tom's cheating. We kind of like spending time with each other, yet when she suggested making out and showing it to them, I dropped out. Last Thursday, Emma came back from the office and told me that Tom would be visiting on Friday evening and they would want to execute their desire. The moment she started speaking, I started recording her. I asked if this was an order and she giggled and said, "Yes, isn't it exciting?" I said I hadn't said yes to this. She said, I know you'll get on board. Once Tom is here and he instructs me to follow his order, you will love to witness how he takes me. It would be so much fun. I assure you our relationship will rekindle after this session." She carried on talking about how amazing it would be, blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, I was chatting with Sarah, giving her live updates of what was happening. Sarah wanted to use this opportunity to humiliate Tom and Emma. She read some of the stories here where the cheating spouses were gagged with dogs' leashes, but I brought her back to reality. Let's be real, it doesn't happen. She literally wanted to gag him and make him watch us. Despite my initial resistance, I saw the merit in doing so. I asked Sarah if she was really sure to get intimate with me. She said yes. Then on Friday, Sarah and I both took off from work to set our plan into motion. Emma was excited, almost giddy at the thought of what was to come, and I had to bite my tongue to keep from saying something that would give away my true intentions. After she left for work, I got the locks off the house changed. I bought big boxes, stuffed them with her belongings, and sealed them. Sarah came back from her parents', packed her stuff, and vacated the house. But before that, she destroyed all of Tom's belongings, cut his clothes into confetti, poured adhesive on his leather shoes, and smashed his expensive perfume bottles into dust. Poor him. Emma texted me she and Tom would roll in by 7. Sarah came over about an hour before, and together we made the final preparations. We set up speakers throughout the house and queued up some loud thumping music, which would grab the attention of anyone entering the driveway. When 7 p.m. rolled around, I turned on the music and waited. Sure enough, a few minutes later, I saw Emma and Tom pull up in his car. They got out, laughing and talking, clearly expecting a fun evening ahead, but when they reached the front door, they found it locked. I watched from the living room window as Emma fumbled with her keys, a confused look on her face. She tried the handle again, but of course, it wouldn't budge. Tom, growing impatient, screamed what was the matter and from where was the loud music coming. Emma thought I had bolted the lock from inside, and maybe I was unable to hear the lock due to the loud music. Our bedroom window opens to the backyard. She and Tom walked towards the backyard. The window was closed, but we left the curtain slightly open for them to sniff what was happening inside. Sarah and I stood near the window, and when they looked at us, their faces turned pale. We couldn't hear them, but the frustrations on their face were epic. Tom lost his mind and yelled while Sarah and I locked our lips and closed the curtain. We are not fools to let them record us. Then we wrapped ourselves in a sheet to show them we were making out. Sarah was wearing an off-shoulder dress and I was in my vest. We just showed them some glances of us kissing on the lips and neck and grabbing each other. We actually did nothing, at that time. We were so fuming with rage. Those 5 to 10 minutes are still a blur for me. Sarah and I kissed multiple times. Lips, face, neck, and shoulder. Tom pounded on the window, shouting something I couldn't hear over the music. I didn't care. Then we went upstairs, and from the window of our studio, I threw the boxes I had packed for Emma. Some of it aimed at Tom, but he dodged it. They both were cursing and screaming at us. I sent the pre-recorded voice note to Emma telling her I have all the evidence of her infidelity, her chats with Tom, and the recordings where she was forcing me into this. I threatened her with dire consequences if she tried to outsmart me. I told her she would be served, and if she wants no further humiliation, she should sign it and end this relationship in peace. After I was done, Sarah came to the window and threw her wedding ring and the house key at Tom, saying it's over and he would get the divorce papers soon. Then we kissed again. Tom's demeanor changed and he begged Sarah to talk to him once. He threw Emma under the bus, saying she was the one who lured him into this and it wasn't his fault at all. Emma punched him with her bag and blamed him for ruining our marriage. I tell you, it was so much fun to watch them shifting the blame on each other. The situation was so chaotic that one of our elderly neighbors came out and asked Emma to tone down if she didn't want to spend the evening with the cops. They both pleaded to hear them out once, but we shut the window. Sarah broke down after that and I consoled her. That's when we actually had a makeout. She's so tender, so gentle. I almost felt like I was holding a human-shaped soft toy. We spent that night together, mostly talking about our relationship and the red flags we should have noticed. Sarah went to her parents the next day and told them everything. We have been checking on each other regularly but haven't met since. The divorce papers are supposed to reach them by this week. Hope to make an update once this is over. Oh, the ultimate show don't tell experience. Forget the divorce papers. 4 can play this game. Update 2. My last update unexpectedly blew up. Sorry for making you all wait for this one. Here it goes. So Sarah and I both filed for divorce. Emma and Tom were devastated. Sarah gave Tom a tough time. She took away his house and demanded huge compensation for her mental exploitation. Tom has been gaslighting her for a long time. After the divorce and alimony were settled, Sarah made him jobless. She emailed the HR of their company the details of his activities. The chat messages I retrieved proved that they had sex in the office premises after work hours, and even Emma confessed on the first day that she fondled Tom's you-know-what after work at his cabin. They were kicked out of the job. They were screwed big time. Before the paper reached her, Emma tried to reach out to me multiple times through all means, but I shut her away. I knew I could not avoid her forever, and one day I'll have to talk to her, but not at that time. I gave her the fair share. We went for an out-of-court settlement. My lawyer said it was best for my interests. She desperately wanted to talk to me before signing the papers. I obliged. She apologized profusely for her mistake. She said, "I didn't realize our relationship was so fragile that it would break over such a small thing. I thought we could sustain it, but I was so wrong." When she was done throwing her bait, I replied, "Yet you remain the manipulative witch. You started with sorry and then went on to gaslight me that it was my fault to break the marriage over a trivial matter. To you, having sex with your boss and humiliating me was small stuff, isn't it?" She tried to justify herself, saying she did all those only because she wanted to spice up my marriage. I heard her rant until I could, and then snapped her to shut up because none of her words were making sense. The bottom line is she's a cheater, and she has messed up big time, and there's no way she can change the consequence. Emma was disheartened with the divorce, but she was more bothered that I started dating Sarah. As per Sarah's information, Emma also begged Tom to get together because, same boat. But he shooed her away, saying she was beneath his standards and she was just a fun material. Good for Emma. She dug the grave for herself and now she has to lie in it. Meanwhile, Tom also reached out to me and tried several times to deter me from dating Sarah. He tried to come clean and said Emma was the one who seduced him at the office for her own good. I threatened to break his bones if he ever texted me again. I know he's lying. I have read all their conversations. He was the one who had put the idea into Emma's head. I'm not trying to justify her cheating. She's equally responsible. She wasn't a teenager who got manipulated by a senior. She clearly made the choice, and now she was living by it. Sarah and I, yes, we are dating. Serious relationship? Not sure. We certainly don't want to get married again. As of now, we are enjoying our time together. Let's see how far we go in this togetherness. We'll keep updating this thread as life progresses. Thanks for reading. Just a small thing, she says, as if cheating and humiliation are minor details in the grand scheme of things. You shut her down perfectly. The gaslighting attempt was a nice touch of, let's pretend nothing happened. And your response was right on the money, OP. Tom reaching out to you, still trying to save face, must have been a real treat. The guy's clearly got no clue how to handle the mess he's in. As for you and Sarah, it sounds like you're finding your footing and enjoying the ride. No pressure, just taking things as they come. That's a pretty great way to navigate through all the drama and start fresh. Keep us posted, OP. What do you make of this? Thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time.